Yumayaman sa pagiging empleyado lang. Dapat lahat tayo nagninegosyo. Timing! Narito ang isang programang magbibigay ng tamang gabay sa pagnenegosyo. Pakinggan at panoorin ang mga ekspertong magiging guest dito. Isang show para sa negosyo. DWIZ Negosyo! Kasama sina Lito Gagni at Jerry Orbina. Pakinggan ng live sa DWIZ. Panoorin ng live sa Aliw 23 at i-follow sa lahat ng digital channels ng DWIZ, Facebook, YouTube at DWIZ News App. Huwag munang magplano, huwag munang sasabak, huwag munang papasok sa negosyo nang hindi napapanood ang show na Negosyo. Two-time Most Promising TV Station Awardee, Aliw Channel 3 at Best Public Service Radio Host Awardee, Bragi Braganza. Pangakong itutuloy ang pagbibigay ng tamang balita at tamang paglilingkod at isang malaking pasasalamat sa tiwalang naibigay sa amin. Pakakasahan yung gagawin naming malaking inspirasyon ito para ipagpatuloy ang maglingkod sa lahat ng Pilipino. Ang lahat ng opinyon, pagtingin, pananaw o kuro-kuro ng mga bisita at panauhin o mga anchors o host sa programang ito ay sarili at tanging opinyon at pananaw ng mga nabanggit at hindi opinyon o pananaw ng Aliw Broadcasting Corporation, mga producers o mga namamahala ng Aliw Broadcasting o anumang organisasyon na affiliated sa network at kailanman ay hindi iniendorso ng Aliw Broadcasting Corporation ang mga nabanggit na opinyon at pananaw sa programa.
Ang programang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng Petron. Petron knows you deserve only the best.
Moving forward kami sa Sulong na Bayan. Ang inyong paboritong public service program ay susulong na naman. Maririnig kami sa bagong time slot na alas 5 hanggang alas 6 ng gabi, Lunes hanggang Biyernes. Sa prime time slot na ito, higit na maraming listeners at viewers ang aabuti ng aming iba't ibang segments tulad ng Gospel Verse a Day, balita sa special sectors tulad ng OFW, senior citizens, Chinoy community at iba pang makabuluhang sektor. Makakasama ang veteran journalist na si Loli Acosta. Mabuhay! Sulong na Bayan!
Kapag tapos ng bumoto, lumapit sa electoral board para maipasok sa automated counting machine, ACM, ang balota at hintayin ma-print ang voter's receipt. Ito po si Loli Rivera Acosta.
Paalalang dapat isipin at gawin. Bahagi na. Iboto ang tama. Itama ang boto. DWIZ Election Coverage.
Alright, a blessed afternoon to everyone. It's al-Fitr. So, i-greet ko muna po ang lahat ng ating mga matatawag nating kapatilang Muslim all over the world. Eid Mubarak. We are praying that your health is always good and your family is okay. So, yan po ang Eid Mubarak ng greetings namin. But just so you would know what al-Fitr is, I'll just give you a backgrounder. Ito po ay a festival of breaking the fast. In fact, I was able to attend this breaking of the fast al-Fitr in Cotabato. Nauna ng konti yung ibang grupo doon. I don't know how, I don't know why, kasi meron din po silang isinasagawang celebration ng turnover ceremonies dyan sa Bangsamoro the other day. And nakita ko how they broke the fasting, Talaga namang yung aking katandem, magugulat ka. Hindi siya kumakain. Ang daming pagkain nakalatag kasi nga after ng breaking of fasting ay kailangan pwede na silang makakain. Pero siya, ni isang tubig na drop of water, bawal din dahil nagfa-fasting siya. Hanggat kakayanin ang kanyang pangangatawan. Although si Kaali Makabalang ay mahinang-mahina na ang katawan, pero talagang true to form na matatawag ay nag-fasting siya. And then yung breaking of the fasting, yun ang sinasagawang al-Fitr na kung saan ito na yung it will mark the end of the month long dawn to dusk fasting. Ito'y holiday is known under other various names in different languages in countries around the world. So Eid al-Fitr has a particular sala that consists of 2 rakats, sabi ng kanilang Wikipedia, generally performed in an open field or large hall. Napakalaki nga nung aming pinagselebrahan dyan sa Cotabato, no? It may only be performed in congregation daw. Kaya pala ganong kalaki at ang crowd ay hindi yata mabilang na andun lahat yung mga kapatiran nating Muslim, sila Kaali at saka ang mga leaders ng Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. And it features 6 additional takbirs. Ito naman yung takbirs, nakita ko nga, sila ay nag-raise ng kanilang mga kamay, raising of the hands to the ears while reciting the takbir. Yung meron po silang nire-recite na isang saying, ang pangalan ay Allahu Akbar. Ano po ibig sabihin yan? It means God is the greatest. Allahu Akbar. So ito namang in the Hanafi school of Sunni Islam, there were 3 takbirs naman at the start of the first rakat and 3 just before ruku. Okay, I'm just giving you a backgrounder. Ruku. Dito naman sa second rakat, other Sunni schools usually have 12 takbirs. So iba-iba yan, no? Similarly split in groups of 7 and 5. Etong Insha Islam. The Salat has 6 takbirs in the first rakat at the end of Tilawa. So according to Muslim tradition, Muhammad instituted the celebration of Eid al-Fitr. And according to Hadith, these festivals were initiated in Medina after the migration of Muhammad from Mecca. Ito namang si Anak ibn Malik, a companion of Muhammad, narrated that when Muhammad arrived in Medina, he found people celebrating 2 specific ito yung 2 specific days in which they entertained themselves with recreation. And then si Muhammad then remarked that God had fixed 2 mandatory days of festivity. Etong Eid al-Fitr at yung tinatawag nilang Eid al-Adha. Eid al-Fitr begins at sunset on the night of the first sighting of the crescent moon, the night on which the moon is sighted and celebrated as Shan Ba'at in countries like Bangladesh. Ayan, kapitbahay din natin yan sa ASEAN countries. If the moon is not observed immediately after the 29th day of the previous lunar month, either because clouds are blocking it, alam mo, madilim ang mga ulap, or because the western sky is still too bright naman when the moon sets, then itong holiday nila is celebrated the following day. So, Eid al-Fitr is celebrated for 1 to 3 days. Kaya nga, sinasabi ko, nauna po silang magselebra dyan sa Bangsamoro Autonomous Region, Muslim Mindanao, sa Cotabato, when I was there the other day. Depending on the country, sa atin sa Pilipinas. So, it is forbidden naman to fast on the day of Eid. Eid in a specific prayer is nominated for this day. This is an obligatory act of charity. Nakita ko po, na-observe po natin nang sila ay nag-celebra ng kanilang Eid al-Fitr, ay talaga naman ang bigayan ay walang humpay. Yung generosity was overflowing. In other words, eto na yung testimony na kung saan sila ay matatawag na brothers. Yung bang ang gusto nilang sabihin magkakapatid tayo. Iiwasan na lang natin muna ang siguro arguments o mga matatawag nating hindi pagkakasundo-sunduan, dahil ganyan naman din. Just like any ordinary family, meron din naman di magkaka-vibes, di po ba? Sa magkakapatid, even sa parents, hindi rin sila magkakasundo-sundo. Pero itong Eid al-Fitr, nakita ko na super magkakasundo-sundo lahat sila. Yung bang nakita mo yung hindi nagkakaintindihan dati, at na-identify ko rin yung mga sobrang galit sa kapwa nila, ay somehow nagmellow. Siguro yun po yung talagang gusto ring ipaalam nitong celebration na Eid al-Fitr, Eid Mubarak, that all is well. In other words, titigil na natin. Sana buong mundo, ganun po, di ba? Kasi, ayan, putukan sa Ukraine, putukan sa Russia, at iba pang hindi pagkakasundo-sundo na mga bansa ay kasali yan sa ating ginagalawang mundo. They were saying the world is in turmoil. So, ayaw natin yan dahil gusto natin sumulong ang bayan. Alright, nasa kabilang linya ng komunikasyon, we're so blessed that he is in town already. He has returned from Israel, but he's joining us via Zoom, no less than His Excellency. And we're so happy and we're so thankful that he's able to join us on our episode of Entrepreneurs and Envoys. Of course, this is devoted for ambassadors and diplomatic corps. So let's welcome to our program, no less than His Excellency, Ambassador Ian Flus. He's the Israel Ambassador to the Philippines. Hello, how are you, sir?
Hello, good afternoon. How are you?
Kamusta?
Good. Thank you for inviting me.
I know you know the language.
Yeah, a few words, not too many, and I'll be careful with what I say.
Ayan. Okay, you look really good. It is holiday in the Philippines and I think holiday in all our Muslim countries. So Eid Mubarak. That's Eid al-Fitr. Can you just give us a backgrounder how you guys celebrate this?
Well, actually, it's a Muslim celebration. So most Israelis are actually Jewish. So it is a recognized holiday in Israel since we also have a Muslim population. And of course, the Muslims would take these days off. They would go to pray in the Table Mount, in the mosque there, or they go to their own mosques. And usually they will have sort of festive meals and prayers and a lot of family gathering and getting together.
Oh, okay. Let me move on to a little bit of backgrounder. What's going on, of course, in your country, because we know that in October 7, 2023, the war broke out following the surprise attack by the Palestinian militant group Hamas in Israel. So for now, what's the situation right now, sir?
So if the situation in general in Israel, and I can talk about it a bit more later, but I have to say that daily life in Israel is back to normal.
Wow, that's good to hear.
Israelis are working, everything is open, clubs, restaurants, hotels, cinemas, nightlife. So you go to Israel, and as you said, I just came back last week from Israel. You really actually don't feel anything. Now, but of course, we're still it's not full-scale war as it was the first couple of months or first almost a year, but the situation is not stabilized.
Okay.
With the Hamas, we still have 59 hostages that have been kidnapped on October 7, 2023, and that's one of the two main goals of the war, is to bring them home. We know that out of the 59, we know that 24 hostages are still alive. Obviously, they are, somewhere in Gaza, in the tunnels, Red Cross, nobody has seen them. So we're very worried because we know that they are tortured. We know that suffering from hunger and torture, and of course, no freedom. And the family is extremely worried. And those that are dead, we want to bring them home, to have the proper burial site and for the families to be able to properly say farewell. So bringing them home now is the first goal. Of the second goal of the war of Israel is, of course, to make sure that this terror organization, Hamas, cannot attack Israel once again. It's something that we would not allow. And as long as the Hamas will, we cannot allow for, once again, build-up of Hamas and then a repeat of attacks in the coming years. And that's on the front with the Hamas. So currently we have um, quiet negotiations, of course, with the support of the Americans, who certainly see the importance of supporting Israel and putting more pressure on Hamas. We have the Egypt, we have Qatar, who are operating as interlocutors or mediators here, and there are different proposals on the table. We were lucky that until about 2 months ago, we did have a ceasefire, an exchange, and we had
Very good.
33 hostages who did come out. But you have to understand that for the 33 hostages who came out, we had to release 1,900 terrorists. So
Wow.
they are
That's
not
exchange.
not innocent people. So the sheer numbers, it was a very difficult exchange to do,
Sure.
knowing that mostly 80% of terrorists that we release from the Israeli jail,
You have
according
to-
to our past experience, 80% of them come back to terrorism. Including Yahya Sinwar, who was the leader of Hamas who initiated the October 7 attack. So it is a very painful decision. Of course, families of victims that those terrorists have murdered, really, it's very difficult for them to see these persons going out. And as I said, there are very high chances that Israelis would be killed in the future because of other terror attacks of those people. So we are now in another round of negotiations and hoping and praying for the release of the hostages. The army is putting pressure on Hamas in Gaza. There are different incidents all the time because the threats are still there.
Yeah, but it's good to know, Mr. Ambassador, that you're assuring us that somehow it has gone to normalcy. Because I remember last week you were in Israel attending your son's wedding. So congratulations. Let me
Thank
first
you very much.
congratulate you. So that means
Thank
everything is doing somehow good. You can
Yes.
like walk the streets and, it's peaceful.
People don't realize, sometimes when I do presentations
Okay.
and I have my opening slide would show a camel in the desert.
All right.
And, so people would imagine Israel, a desert, maybe
The
a war
old time.
country. And then the second slide would be the shoreline, Israel of Tel Aviv at
Okay.
night. And you see skyscrapers, you see the lights,
Right.
you
The
see
red, yeah.
the beach, and it's really just to walk along the beach at the evening and have a cold beer there.
Right.
So Israel is a country of technology, of innovation. We are resilient people, and life in Israel is back to normal. Companies are working, and we are helping them to do business in the Philippines. Social life, cultural life, concerts, cinemas, weddings. So this really continues. And we are also, I have to say, it's important to say that Israel is open for tourists, for pilgrims. Soon it's going to
Oh,
be Holy
yes.
Week.
Well, I was
So the-
there for a pilgrimage because the itinerary was so full and we had a really nice time, great time. All the tourism destinations we all saw it. Nazareth, Jerusalem, and then Tel Aviv. And the nightlife was fantastic. We enjoyed it. So somehow you're saying it is back to normal, right?
Yes. And you didn't mention the good Israeli wine.
Right, the wine was fun. Oh, wow. Because I don't really normally drink wine, but I did try because everybody was like drinking and having fun. And they were all so generous to us, especially the Filipino communities where I did an interview. There was like a president of the OFW Filipinos communities in, I think, Tel Aviv, Israel, yeah. And he was very, I think, professional. He holds a degree in fashion and in arts, and he's very successful Filipino there. And I was able to do an interview with the singer. Did you remember that? A Filipino
Yes.
singer who won Israel's Got Talent.
Because she's very well known in Israel. And
Right.
I have to say, Filipinos are loved in Israel. You go to Israel, you say you are Filipino, people automatically have warm feelings towards you because I think
lot of things to tell.
and also Filipinos feel at home in Israel. We look at just at the numbers of how many Filipinos requested to be repatriated back to the Philippines.
They don't like to
Relatively
leave,
not so many.
actually.
No, exactly. Only the ones who ended the contracts, but people, they like to stay.
They like to
And
stay.
from some
I
aspects,
bet.
I think there is a lot of similarities between our
Culture.
cultures and our societies. You know, the value of family, the value of
Sure.
hosting, of inviting guests into your home.
Right.
People are warm like Filipinos. Maybe we're a bit louder, but Filipinos, when they are a little bit, they feel at
Yeah,
home, they
the
can be also
fun.
quite noisy.
Uh-huh.
So,
And we love singing like you do.
exactly.
So there's karaoke bars and all. And the Filipino, the agriculturists that I interviewed, they're so amazed of what you guys like have to offer to them. And they have big salaries when I interviewed them. Oh, how much are you earning? Oh, you can't believe it. And you guys, the Israelites, are really, really welcoming. They teach and so generous in sharing technology because
Correct.
we need that.
Actually, you're touching the other aspect I'm happy to discuss a little bit.
Okay,
So
please do.
except for the caregivers and the hotel workers in Israel, and we have close to 28,000 of them in Israel,
Okay.
and really they're doing well. We also have this year 700 interns in the agricultural sector.
Right.
So they come to Israel for 11 months to get exposed and to learn the Israeli smart agriculture, how to use the technologies, the approach to agriculture as a business, and how can you make money and earn from agriculture. So this goes on for 11 months with the idea that when they come back,
Okay.
of course, they'll be able to implement what they
Here.
have studied in Israel and what they have not only studied but experienced in Israel for 11 months, and they are really fully experiencing it. So to come back to the Philippines, implement it here, and by that contribute to the sector, which we know that the agriculture sector is a very challenged sector.
Right.
The issues, and when I met the president, he also asked me, Ambassador, for me, a top priority, talking to you as Israeli ambassador, is please help bring over Israeli agricultural and water technologies in order to improve agricultural productivity and food security. And last week, the day after I got back, last week on Tuesday,
Okay.
I was invited as guest of honor by the Metro Pacific Group in order to inaugurate in Bulacan the biggest project of greenhouses in the Philippines. It's in Bulacan, 3.5 hectares of greenhouses, and we went to inaugurate, and it was the first harvest, and you could see different kinds of lettuce, and we harvested them. And it's unbelievable to see it fully controlled, environment controlled there, all the irrigation, water purification systems, cooling systems. It's really so impressive because I think the Metro Pacific Group has, realized that it's a challenge in the Philippines. So it's also an opportunity. And this is what I always keeping and saying again. Challenges are also opportunities.
Right.
So we got an Israeli company entering into a joint venture with a Philippine company, with Metro Pacific, and it's a joint venture.
Wow, that's good news.
So the Israeli technologies are fully implemented and integrated into this project in Bulacan, and it's really state of the art. And I'm actually so proud to see, the results of those efforts, as you said, to bring the Israeli knowledge
Right.
in agriculture to the Philippines. So it's really
When is
fantastic.
that target date, Mr. Ambassador?
No, that was inaugurated last week.
Last week, and then Oh,
And now they announced
Tell
last
us.
week already that they're going to expand from 3.5 hectares. They're going to double the size
Wow.
to 7.
so 6 hectares
And
perhaps.
then in about 6 months' time, that we're going to inaugurate the
Another.
other project, which is on dairy farm. Dairy, as you know, 99% of dairy products in the Philippines are imported. So here they entered into this joint venture with the Israeli company, going to use all the Israeli, again, smart technologies in dairy production, and we'll see a super modern, biggest dairy farm in Laguna, using all the Israeli technologies. It's in management, it's all kinds of systems. And I'll just give you one figure that will maybe make it in real, to understand what is the benefit. Cow, an
Advantages.
average production of milk
Okay.
per cow in the Philippines, one cow will give an average of 8 liters a day in the
8
Philippines.
liters a day.
8
Okay.
liters. In Israel, a cow
how
would give an
much?
average of 40 liters.
Mm,
40.
we can get there.
40. And that's the idea, to try and get there as much as you can. But, even doubling would be so meaningful. But of course, to get to the Israeli figure to 40 liters, you need to use technologies, but it's also different practices. It's not only the technology. It's practices, and actually using knowledge and science in what you're doing. And I think for me, this is one of the
Very
most
well.
important.
It will boost agriculture productivity. That's what we need. Somebody from you guys to tell us, here it is, this is how you should do it. Just to refresh your memory, in I think what year was that? We were the ones training in this place in Los Baños for the irrigation. We know that then. A lot of foreign nationals come to the country to train here in the Philippines for that irrigation project. But for now, for some reason, we have lost that. But now that you have offered this joint venture with Mr. Pangilinan and the Metro Pacific, then these things will all materialize. Is that like the Department of, just to ask you very briefly, the department, just to refresh your memory, DILG, Department of Interior and Local Government, signed a memorandum then of understanding with Agro Studies? Is that the same thing that you're saying now, the Israeli Agricultural Training Center?
Yes, so the training center and the agency who is doing those trainings is called Agro Studies.
Okay.
And actually the program is originally working with TESDA.
All right.
And we expanded this partnership between Agro Studies and Philippine entities in order to make it more effective, that when they come back, they can be integrated into specific projects. And for that reason, we had an MOU signed between Agro Studies and DILG. And a few months ago, there was also another MOU signed between Agro Studies
And
the Agriculture Training Institute of the Department of Agriculture.
all right.
So basically, next year, sort of next October, the next academic year, because it's a full academic program, next academic year we'll have participants, 700 interns
Wow.
coming from TESDA, and then some from DILG, and some from Department of
Department of
Agriculture.
Agriculture.
So with this idea is to give the program to a better outreach and to make it more
Explore.
effective in identifying relevant people from different agencies and different regions.
Right.
And yeah, so it's an amazing program. It used to be 500, and we were able to increase the number to 700 because of the giving more priority to the Philippines. So it's also another message of, the feeling so close with the relationship between our two countries.
Okay. When we return, let me ask the good ambassador. He has mentioned Department of Agriculture, Department of Interior, Local Government. Perhaps expound more on the Department of Agrarian Reform, because you guys, with our secretary, the good secretary Conrado Estrella, met with you to explore more partnerships. When we return, please expound on it so that people will be refreshed. But don't go away. We have to be getting some commercials. We'll be right back. Philippine Standard Time is 5:26 in the afternoon.
That time check was brought to you by MX3.
MX3. Dito ako believe.
Si Miss Loli Acosta, Sulong na Bayan sa DWIZ 882.
Come on, let's go to Isuzu Jaguars. You won't regret it. Come on, let's go to Isuzu Jaguars. We've got your back. Isuzu Jaguars, your partner through it all. Isuzu Jaguars, Isuzu Jaguars, Isuzu Jaguars.
visit Isuzu Gencars Makati, Isuzu Santa Rosa, Isuzu Batangas Santo Tomas, Isuzu Batangas City, Isuzu San Pablo, Isuzu Legazpi, and Isuzu Naga.
Pagsapit ng alas 12 bago ka mag-lunch o kaya nagla-lunch ka, dagdagan pa ang mga alam mo para hindi ka naman huli sa balita. Live sa DWIZ Manila at sa lahat ng DWIZ News FM sa buong Pilipinas, Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao. At mapapanood ng live sa Aliw 23 Free TV at sa lahat ng digital channel ng DWIZ. Ang Balitang Bayan. Mga balitang nangyari lang at kasalukuyang nangyayari. Balitang Bayan. Kasama ang opisyal na tagagising ng bayan, si Drew Nasino. Di ka aantukin kapag nalaman mo na ang latest sa Balitang Bayan. Sa patuloy na pagbabalita ng tama at paglilingkod ng tama. Balitang Bayan. Araw-araw, 12 noon. Papalakas ng papalakas, palinaw ng palinaw, mga balita at impormasyong naiintindihan dahil malinaw mong nalaman. Tutok lang sa DWIZ mula umaga hanggang gabi. Updated on air and online. DWIZ, nagbabalita ng tama, naglilingkod ng tama.
Ang balitang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng Petron. Petron knows you deserve only the best.
Latest, pinakabago at tama. DWIZ News Catch Up. News Catch Up.
Pilipinas, narito na ang mga tamang balita sa oras na ito. NDRMC magsasagawa ng full council meeting bukas bilang parte ng paghahanda sa posibleng pagtama ng The Big One. Ang detalye mula kay Patrol 13 Gilbert Perdez.
Magsasagawa ng full council meeting ang National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council o NDRMC bukas. Ito'y para talakayin daw ang mga kinakailangang panggawin bilang paghahanda sakaling tumama ang malakas na lindol sa Pilipinas, partikular ang The Big One sa Metro Manila. Sa bagong Pilipinas ngayon, public briefing, sinabi ni Office of Civil Defense Director Chris Bendio na marami pang dapat gawin pagdating sa disaster resiliency. Partikularaan niya rito ang retrofitting sa mga gusali, kabilang na mga paaralan, ospital at iba pang mga estruktura. Ayon kay Bendio, maaaring hilingin nila sa DILG na paalalahanan ng mga lokal na pamahalaan sa mahigpit na implementasyon ng occupancy permit, construction at building permits para matiyak na naayon daw ito sa building code. Katwiran ng opisyal, mawawalan daw ng saysay ang mga pagdadako yung cover and hold na ginagawa sa earthquake drill kung ang mga gusali naman ay nagko-collapse dahil din sa mahinang pundasyon o hindi pagsunod sa building code. Patrol 13 Gilbert Perdes para sa himpilang may todong las. DWIZ, nagbabalita ng tama, naglilingkod ng tama.
DWIZ News Catch Up. News Catch Up.
PNP-HPG, inatasan ni General Marbil na bantayan ang mga police checkpoints sa bansa. Ang detalye ng balita mula kay Patrol 17 Jopel Peleño.
Ipinag-utos nga ni Philippine National Police Chief General Romel Francisco Marbil sa PNP Highway Patrol Group na bantayan ang iba't ibang police checkpoints sa buong bansa. Payag ni General Marbil, wala kasing temporary operators permit mula sa LTO ang mga nakaposteng pulis sa mga checkpoint, hindi tulad ng mga miyembro ng PNP-HPG. Ayon sa General, sa pamamagitan nito, higit na mapaiigting ang border control, lalo na ngayong election period. Ito ang inayag ni Marbil matapos maharang sa Comelec checkpoint ang namaril na suspect sa nag-viral na road rage incident sa Antipolo City. Plain view doctrine lamang kasi, ani Marbil, ang ipinatutupad sa checkpoints para sa mga four-wheel vehicle, kaya mahirap na matukoy kung may armas ang mga nasa loob ng sasakyan. Dahil dito, kailangan na ani ang i-require sa PNP-HPG ang pagbabantay sa mga inilatag na Comelec checkpoint sa buong bansa. Ito si Patrol 17 Chopel Peleño para sa impilang may kodong lakas, DWIZ. Nagbabalita ng tama, naglilingkod ng tama.
DWIZ News Catch Up. News Catch Up.
At iyan ang mga tamang balita sa mga oras na ito. Mag-follow at subscribe sa lahat ng DWIZ News digital channels, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, X, DWIZ News app at DWIZ News website. Ako po si Gia Rafael, nagbabalita ng tama, naglilingkod ng tama.
Oras-oras nagbabalita ng tama, naglilingkod ng tama. DWIZ News Catch Up. News Catch Up.
Ang balitang ito ay inihatid sa inyo ng Petron. Petron knows you deserve only the best. Si Miss Loli Acosta, Sulong na Bayan sa DWIZ 882.
All right, we're back with our special guest for today for our Voice and Entrepreneur segment, no less than His Excellency, the Israel Ambassador to the Philippines, Ilan Flus, on the line via Zoom. And our hanging question, welcome back, Mr. Ambassador. All right, hanging
Thank
question
you.
was like, your latest project was collaboration with the Department of Agrarian Reform. And to refresh your memory, you signed with our Secretary Conrado Estrella to explore partnerships in agricultural innovation and rural development. And the discussions was focused on adapting Israeli technologies, just like what you said earlier, irrigation and precision agriculture to enhance crop yields and resource management of the Philippines. Tell us a little bit about that.
So that's exactly, actually, basically you said most of it.
Yes.
We had a very good meeting with Secretary Estrella to identify possible collaborations. One of the main challenges in the Philippines is obviously how to make the sector more productive. And of course, when we talk about agrarian reform, how do we help and assist the farmers who are usually smallholder farmers who are getting the land, and how can we help them implement modern technologies, moving from subsistence farming, moving from traditional farming, which is not commercial anymore.
Right.
And how do we help them really to earn a living? And to make the farmers, today the average age of a farmer is about 50. How can you make and how can you attract also the younger generation to either stay in farming or to move into farming? And in Israel, the farmers are all ages.
All ages.
Of course, we don't need so many, but in farming, it's a business and you can make money.
Sure.
So we discussed possible collaborations, but as the Israeli approach is really on, we're doing two main issues when we look at our collaborations here. From one side, we do training and capacity building.
Right.
So, of course, I offered to include the Department of Agrarian Reform in the program of inviting the interns to Israel.
Go to Israel.
And second,
Wow.
yes, for the 11 months program. And secondly, also, we have short training programs for professionals who can come to Israel for a few weeks and gain really intensive technical and professional training programs. And of course, I offer to send some of these teams to join those programs. And thirdly, to look how we can assist in implementing this knowledge. How can we work? Because we do give also some small grants that are going for specific projects on the ground
That's good
for
to know.
farmers. We have a very actually nice, simple project in Tarlac, in Tarlac Agriculture University, where we sponsored the Israeli technology to be implemented in greenhouses in the university, and I visited there just about 2 months ago. Very, very successful. Of course, we can always do better. So that was the purpose of that meeting, and it went very, very well. And of course, the teams are now trying to identify. The second thing I wanted to say is that, as you understand, from one side, we work with government. On the other hand, we, of course, engage private sector. Because for long term, quite often we find, again, I'm part of government, of course, and government usually does more of the policy or the regulation and assisting things to happen. But for the long term, you need to have the private sector involved. So we also engage in private sector. We bring over here delegations that bring with them delegations from different sectors, but we had already delegations in the agricultural sector. where they meet their counterparts and, of course, the government, and we expose them to opportunities.
Right. And talk about income and revenue. We know that our coconuts here in the Philippines is a tree of life. Do you have like technologies to help the coconut industry or the cacao,
Really?
perhaps?
So I would say on cacao and coffee,
Okay.
and more, I would say on fruit trees, of course, vegetables, and I would say on high value crops. Coconut,
value.
we don't grow in Israel,
Okay.
so I don't think we can. But also coffee, we don't grow. But what we do have, we have a lot of experience and knowledge in fruit trees. So mango, which is traditionally working for, is grown in the Philippines for centuries. It's a new fruit in Israel,
Okay.
but we are doing very well in the production of mango. And we did already some even training programs many years ago in the Philippines when I was here. You know, I'm a Bayan. I'm
I
a diplomat
know,
Bayan.
right. You like
So
us.
this is why I came back
Right.
because I love the Philippines.
I know, but
So
I'm so sad when I heard that you're very soon will leave us already. But we'll talk about
yeah,
that later.
it's going to be soon four
I
years. So I still have a few
know.
months to
A few
complete
months.
our initiatives.
The
But I
term.
would say very interestingly that when I was here also in the 90s and also now we had here even training programs on how to produce mango in a more smart way, meaning, you know, the mango trees here, they are grown so big. And then it's very difficult to do the harvest. In
Okay.
Israel, the fruit trees, you manage the tree, you manage the size, and you keep it smaller.
Smaller in
Then it
sizes.
has smaller in size. It's easier to
Easier to
harvest. It
harvest.
actually has more fruit because it has more energy to produce the fruit. Very interesting concepts, and we are actually happy to share
You'll teach
this
that
knowledge
to
with the
us.
Philippines. Exactly. So any fruit trees, coffee, cacao, and we have some experience here in cacao, and the results were amazing. There was a project here with a cacao producer. The results, I mean, the number of cacao pods on the trees were 30 to 40 times more than using the traditional methods of producing.
Right. And of course, okay, we have to move to DICT or just return to that topic.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on artificial intel? Because this is the latest that we have right now. There are merits and demerits. Perhaps tell us what do you think of it?
Correct. Look, I mean, everybody talks about AI. Not many understand deeply the AI. I'm also myself figuring it out to the
Right.
extent that I can. But I have to say that I believe AI is a fact. It's
Okay.
not new anymore. It's here and it's growing. So
is.
there's no question, is it good or is it bad? The issue is how do we use AI? And AI has a lot of opportunities. And we're seeing Israeli companies in different sectors using an AI in the most, it can bring so
Can
many
bring good.
solutions.
Can resolve
Digital,
problems, perhaps.
I'll give you one example, digital health.
Okay.
When you use AI, basically you use data.
Right.
When you analyze the data,
Information.
you can get so much information. And when we talk
Immediate.
about health on the community level or national level, you can identify trends and you can respond to them very early.
Very-
This is how Israel was able to control the COVID pandemic
Right. Because of the
better than many other
information.
countries
Right.
because of using digital health, using data, using AI. And this is just one example. So AI is very important. I can tell you that Israel, for this, you also need, because we're becoming more and more digital.
Okay.
So it is
It's
important
the norm.
to use security. You have a lot of data. It's very sensitive. You need to have security. And here Israel is also a player in what we call cybersecurity. Israel has 40%
Okay.
of international investments
Right.
into
All over.
cybersecurity go to Israel. 40% of global investment in cybersecurity go to Israel because Israeli companies, number one, Israel is very much attacked, like the Philippines, but I think maybe even more. We're very much attacked. So cybersecurity is very important in Israel
For
in order to
information.
protect critical infrastructure and protecting the country. October 7, by the way, included cyber attacks. It's
Okay.
important to say. So we are seeing a lot of Israeli cyber companies also working here with their counterparts in supplying cybersecurity solutions, in supplying cyber training, because that's very important to have trained workforce here that can implement cybersecurity, and of course then also produce your own local solutions here. So AI, digital, this is where the world is already there. It's not going to. It's already here.
It's not going away.
We have to embrace.
Right.
We have to embrace it. We have to understand it. We have to learn it, and we have to use it for our sake. I can tell you that one of my sons
Okay.
he's an entrepreneur. He has his own small business. It's digital. He's working online, and one of the solutions he developed is a small solution on using AI. It's really amazing to see the younger generation just, grabbing this opportunity and identifying. And yesterday I was in an event of giving awards here. I received some kind of
Congratulations.
thank you. And with me there was a Filipino entrepreneur who established in the US an AI company giving some specific solution using AI. So it's a lot of opportunities. It's also risks, but everything in life is an opportunity and is a risk.
It's a risk. But maybe let's use AI for unity and peace. Like Filipinos, like you guys, are resilient people. So the history of our brotherhood goes a long way. In fact, when I was in Israel, I saw the monument of our former President Manuel L. Quezon. Because we love you. The president then had to rescue your nationals. So the brotherhood was so, I guess, amazing. So with what am I driving at? With AI, can we resolve some disputes perhaps or disagreements and make it unite, the whole world? Is there like a possibility for that? Because AI is AI. You said we have to embrace it, we have to adapt it. It's a given. It's not going anywhere. So can somebody say, okay, let's think of something, a concept for uniting people, not arguing anymore?
It's a very interesting comment that you are making, and I
Because you
I
want
totally
peace.
identify with it, because when we talk about polarization, which is both domestic, like within countries, but also between countries, between players. Polarization has become very common in our world, and I do agree that we need to work more on how we can really collaborate, work together in addressing different challenges that we can face them better when we face them together. I can tell you that Israel is experiencing social media, a lot of negative social media, which as a result, we are seeing a rise in anti-Semitism. And this brings me actually back to the 1930s, because as you mentioned, 1938, 39, the Jews were persecuted in Europe by the Nazis, led in 42 to 45 to the not only Second World War, but to the Holocaust, where 6 million Jews were murdered simply because they were Jewish, and were a total genocide. And we're seeing now growing sentiments, and not only sentiments, but anti-Semitic attacks and anti-Israeli attacks all over the world, in like 400% more in the US, 370% more in Canada, Australia, even more, so all over the world. And in some places, Jews do not feel safe. And the reason for that is, a lot of it is disinformation, which goes out on social media. And this is something very worrying for us. And we need here a combination of action. From one side, using technologies, using AI. On the other hand, it is up to you and me, not only leaders, it's for everybody to work together against those evil forces, to bring back really logic and to talk really sense to each other, and really to create more friendships and alliances, and not adversity.
Not diversity. Yeah, when we come back, the time is running really so fast. But when we come back, we'll ask the good ambassador if he has like a message of hope that will really unite because that's what he's saying earlier. We have to have that kind of unity because in unity there's strength. But when we return, he will address that. The Philippine Standard Time, we have to pause for a quick break, is 5:47 in the afternoon.
Si Miss Loli Acosta, Sulong na Bayan sa DWIZ 882. Narito na ang Filipino Mirror, ang unang tabloid sa negosyo. Nagtatampok ng mga eksklusibong balita at impormasyon ng pagtatagumpay sa negosyo. Ang tabloid na nagbibigay ng gabay at inspirasyon sa pag-unlad at pag-asenso. Filipino Mirror, naglalaman ng mga nagbabagang balita, napapanahong issue, may init na opinyon at komentaryo. Filipino Mirror, ang unang tabloid sa negosyo. Pinarangalan ng Gawad Tanglao bilang natatanging pahayagan sa 3 magkakasunod na taon at marami pang pagkilala. Kaya bumili na at magbasa ng Filipino Mirror ng umasenso sa pagnenegosyo.
Come on, let's go to Isuzu Jaguars. You won't regret it. Come on, let's go to Isuzu Jaguars. We've got your back. Isuzu Jaguars, your partner through it all. Isuzu Jaguars, Isuzu Jaguars, Isuzu Jaguars. Let's journey together.
Visit Isuzu Gencars Makati, Isuzu Santa Rosa, Isuzu Batangas Santo Tomas, Isuzu Batangas City, Isuzu San Pablo, Isuzu Legazpi, and Isuzu Naga. Si Miss Loli Acosta, Sulong na Bayan sa DWIZ 882.
Kapag tapos ng bumoto, lumapit sa Electoral Board para maipasok sa Automated Counting Machine, ACM, ang balota at hintayin ma-print ang voter's receipt. Ito po si Loli Rivera Acosta.
Paalalang dapat isipin at gawin. Bahagi na. Iboto ang tama. Itama ang boto. DWIZ Election Coverage.
All right, we're back in our segment Unvoice and Entrepreneurs, and on the line via Zoom, His Excellency Ambassador Ilan Flus, when we were asking him what kind of message of hope can he give us. But before I ask that, it's election time, like 42 days to go in our country. Would you give us a little bit, tiny bit of your thoughts on what qualities actually do we want to, put in our ballot boxes? What kind of qualifications should a candidate should have? You give us any idea?
I will obviously not enter into the political side of it.
No politics. But
as an ambassador, I'm following closely the election process here, and it's such an impressive system. I mean, an island country, 115 million people, so many voters, and then OFWs are also voting. Yes, so it's really impressive, and it's an impressive democracy. And I think it's important, and this is, generally speaking, when we go to the vote, I think we always look for people that we want them to lead us to a better future. I think this is what usually we need, people who will share with us and will promote the values that we carry with us. And I think both Israelis and Filipinos, and most citizens of the world, we are looking to promote, values of good, of life, of development, of prosperity, of working together, and, promoting peace and honesty. And so I think, generally speaking, personally, if you ask me, this is what I would look for. But of course, end of the day, and that's, I think, the strength of a democracy is, at the end of the day, the person goes into the ballot and he would decide who he wants to support to be his representative, if it is in Congress or Senate or mayor. And that's the power of democracy. And just one word, Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East.
Sure.
And it's a big challenge for democracy to fight terrorism. Big issue. How can you fight? As a democracy, you're exposed. How do you fight terrorism? It's a challenge also in the Philippines, in Israel, in a massive way, but it's a global challenge, and it's something that we need to work on this together to identify the right tools, which will keep the democracy and the country in the way that we are, and keep our values, but at the same time have effective tools to deter and to eliminate terrorists who are using the democratic tools in order to attack us. So
Very well said. The texter refuses to be named, but I had to ask that personally. But thank you so much. Now, give us a 60-seconder of message of hope to our viewers, listeners all over the world, especially the
So I want to
Filipinos.
say, first of all, on the message on the Middle East, Israel is challenged not only by Hamas, but Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah from Lebanon, Shia militia from Iraq, from Syria, Houthis from Yemen and Iran, obviously. So we are challenged from so many fronts. And I do want to say that I really hope that we'll be able to overcome this challenge and see a Middle East of peace and prosperity for everybody, for us, for the Palestinians, for our neighbors, in working together. Secondly, I wanted to also, talking about Israel, Philippines, it's important to remember, you talked about President Quezon, and he is the reason people should know that there is no requirement for visa when you visit Israel. So many countries do ask for a visa. So walang visa, and Filipinos are welcomed in Israel because we are friends and we work so well together. Israel is a resilient country, and it will not only survive the fight against terrorism, but it will thrive and continue to innovate and share its innovation with the world, including, of course, and especially with the Philippines. And maybe one last word.
Sure.
I've been here for 3.5 years, plus my previous posting here of 3 years in the 90s. My second son was born here.
Wow.
And I wanted to say to the Philippines, it's the most beautiful country in the world. And as I said before, the people are so warm and so kind. It makes me, makes my family feel so much at home here. And, going to visit, so it's Metro Manila, of course, but going to visit the islands and the different beautiful places in the Philippines, I always feel I'm so lucky to get this posting and have this experience of living here and building so many close and good friendly relations with so many countries. And for me, I wanted to say thank you, and I'm looking forward to working together with all my friends in the Philippines and friends of Israel here in promoting development and better life here in the Philippines, in promoting and better life for Israelis in Israel, but really working together for our two nations and two people in getting closer, in working together as one in order to really alleviate the standard of living and deal with our challenges together. And we have to look at those challenges as opportunities, and let's do it together. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Let's grab a hand, and of course, we want to clap and congratulate our good ambassador and UNICEF. And may I know what your next post is? What country?
Well, actually, I'm going back home for the coming
rest.
2 to 3 years. That's usually we don't go straight to the next posting.
Okay.
We go home to remember what it is to live at home and to be Israeli and to be with our family, of course. And as you said, my family, by the way, my daughter just got engaged a few days ago.
Another congratulations.
The wedding of my son, and the next one is my daughter. So it's good to be, will be good to be back
to
at
join
home.
them there.
See what will next to come. I have so many, so many things I've done
Catch up.
before. So I'm really forward to the next challenge, and I really hope that it will be not only as enjoyable but also as productive as it was for me here in the Philippines.
Well, we want to thank you, and we'll see you soon because we have a planned pilgrimage anytime soon, but they're still working on it because as you said earlier, there's no visa, walang visa. You can go in and out of Israel at madali lang. It's easy to, whisk in in your country. So we will look you up when you're there, if that's
And I'm
okay
looking
with you.
forward to meet you there, to host
Okay.
you, and I'll be happy to take you around to
Thank
some
you.
of the more places where people usually don't go, and they give you the real taste of the country.
Oh, wow. That's exciting. Looking forward to that. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. And it's good to have to know you really, especially now. You're always on hand to, take our requests of invites and interviews. But again, we wish you well and we pray for your strength, stamina, and congratulations because all of your children are engaging, getting married. Now your emptiness, maybe.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
have
Thank you very
fun
much, Loli.
and have a good trip, and we'll see you soon. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Thank
All
you very
right.
much. Shalom.
Shalom. Thank you so much. That's our good ambassador, His Excellency, Ambassador to Israel to the Philippines, his Ambassador Ilon Flus. That's how they pronounce it. And thank you to Miss Mary Rose, the one who facilitated everything, and Miss Mabel Acosta, my executive producer. And birthday greetings to our Aliw editor supervisor, Nino Reyes, and our co-anchor, another anchor in this radio program. Happy birthday to Attorney Lorna Kapunan. She's the host of Laban para sa Karapatan. Dito po yan sa ating palatuntunan sa himpilan. And yes, the good ambassador was very zeroing in unity and peace, shalom. So he will work towards that, and he's going to be going rounds of his friends to say his goodbyes properly. So we're still looking forward to him coming over here in our radio station, Aliw Broadcasting Corporation, to meet and see our chairman, D. Edgar Cabangon. That will be on July. So let's look forward. That is like 2 months from now. But thank you again, as I always say, to our chairman, D. Edgar Cabangon, Attorney Rante, and our officials, Benji Ramos, the president. And as I always say, keep God first in every area of our lives, so He will direct our path. Thank you to Engineer Fred Balamala, to Kent, Jackie, and Hiyas. God bless everyone. Bye.
Si Miss Loli Acosta, Sulong na Bayan sa DWIZ 882. Ang programang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng Petron. Petron knows you deserve